Hello everyone, welcome to IQRA IAS. Today we'll be discussing June 1st and 2nd week current affairs with respect to economy. This particular lecture will have both prelims and mains related concept. I hope all of you are able to hear me. Okay. Honeybee mission, very important. The mission is important for the prelims with regard to the challenges and the performance objectives focus are important for what mains. Sometimes it may happen that some of the important main points could be also be asked in prelims in the form of statement. So that's why it is very important. Few areas of our subject we have to study both in prelims and mains manner in order to crack what? The prelims examination. Okay. Just like if you talk about the prelims syllabus, you are having basic sciences, but majority of the questions with regard to science subject comes from science and technology, which is in GS paper 3. So they talk about defense, they talk about space, etc. Actually a part of mains, but usually asked in what? Prelims. That is the reason there are topics that you need to be studying both in the prelims and the mains pattern so that it becomes very easy at a time of examination. Recently there was an article, and according to that article they have mentioned the drivers that will power India's economy. Drivers are nothing but what are the present factors are there that will lead to power India's economy. Powering India's economy is nothing but enlarging, or you can say that expansion of India's economy in terms of what? Value here. In terms of value here, because GDP or GNP, any of the concept we generally see with the help of what? Value. We attach the final value to the goods and services. That is how we will understand whether we have expanded or not. Okay. But when we talk about the real GDP or real GNP, we talk about the volume of products. Okay. But we talk about the nominal GDP or nominal GNP, we talk about the value of product. So here, what are the various factors that will power India's economy? RBI has cut the repo rate in this month only on June 6th. And after cutting the repo rate, along with that CRR also was reduced. I will tell those concepts, those students who are watching me for the very first time or who are the beginners, no need to worry about it. Whatever we are discussing now, I will be telling you in detail along with the concept. Okay. So we will also talk about RBI cut the repo rate and what is its impact. This is a very, very important mains model question. Okay. The meaning of cooling inflation means what? That United Nations demographic report is there. One more report I have attached here. India's old age report is also there. India's old age report is also there. One important scheme is also there here. ROTD. Refund on exported products. Refund on exported product. This is an important scheme that actually promotes exports of our country, and those who are doing the exports, they will be benefited under this particular scheme. Impact, whatever the drivers we are discussing, it is having a major role in your mains answer writing. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. Let us start our discussion. The first one here is honey bee mission. Directly already a question has come in the year 2023 with regard to honeybee mission. That's why it becomes very important, because it's not just a isolated scheme. Okay, it's a scheme where the government of India is completely focused on it, want to develop this sweet revolution for sure, because it's a sweet revolution. It cannot be done in 1 or 2 years. Revolution itself is a continuous effort is being put to achieve something. That is called as what? Revolution. So honeybee mission is actually a revolution, a flagship scheme of the government of India. It is going to stay for more number of years, and we wanted to become very, very good quality honey producing country in the world. So let us now talk about it. Honeybee mission. It's called as, in the full form, National Beekeeping and Honey Mission. So remember this point, beekeeping. So you have to keep the honey bee for sure. So for that purpose, government of India is also giving you what? Bee boxes. Okay. So if I want to be a part of honeybee mission, if I want to start rearing or culturing honeybees, then I will be given what, honeybee boxes or subsidized with regard to their feed, etc., so and so forth. That's how we wanted to make sure that more number of people should get into this particular mission, and we wanted to make this particular business in a very larger way. So National Beekeeping and Honey Mission launched under the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Very important. Ministries are always important. Do remember the ministry and what scheme or what program they have launched. This kind of question have already come in UPSC 2025. I have made a video with regard to UPSC economic questions. In that I have clearly said that they have changed the ministries, and that is how they have put the statement. That is the reason you should be completely and rigorously trying to mug up the program and the ministry related to it. Under this mission, the focus is on capacity building. Capacity building is nothing but whatever the infrastructure we are having, whatever the backward linkages will be there, whatever the forward linkages will be there. Okay, forward linkages like marketing channels, backward like export channels. Okay, backward linkages like infrastructure is there. Okay, and B boxes are there. Okay, these are called as what? Capacity building. So under this mission, Government of India want to build as much as capacity where the honey bees could be easily reared and we get more production. Quality control labs will be established. Marketing and branding support will be given to the people who are a part of this particular mission. Beekeeping infrastructure. So capacity building will be done in this three manner. Please remember this. So sweet revelation is one of the important part of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, because it is very important. If the Shahid, we call it as, right, if the this sweet revolution increases, also it will impact our lifestyle also. Why? Because instead of sugar we can use this honeybees derived sugar, which is less harmful to our body. So as India youth is going towards lifestyle management and getting very cautious with regard to what they are actually taking inside with their diet. So this, if the honeybee, whatever the shahid we get in the market, if it is easily available, we'll also replace the refined sugar with this. Okay, this jaggery. Aiming to increase production. Okay, aim is very simple. We have to increase production. That is what I have told you. Revolution is nothing but increasing the production. Processing is nothing but using the honey bee, whatever the bee production is there, for various products. You can use it like what I say is that dil khush, dil pasand, like that. If within the bread you can make, or any of the processed foods, moon fills, okay, and choco cookies will be there. No, so using the bee production for the processed goods so that it adds more value. So we'll also linking this bee production with what? Food processing, and also help us to export, generate employment and sustainable livelihoods. If a farmer along with the farming can do this, no, he will get what? Better income, plus the marginalized this under disguised unemployment which is there in the agriculture sector will be reduced, and all the people who are a part of that particular family member who are a part of a particular farming of their own agricultural land, they will also get what? Properly utilized, because instead of disguised unemployment, they will also become a part of what? A proper productive employment. Okay, these all things are important. You should not miss any of this, because when we deliver the lecture, we will try to make sure that we will give you the important points only. So whatever I am giving you, all of them have to be read for sure. Okay. Then other related initiatives, bee banks and bee villages. Okay, you can see this is how a bee box looks like. Subsidized bee boxes you will get in less price, and try this out. Okay, farmer producer are one of the important. You can understand that FPOs are working as hub and spoke model. Hub and spoke model means Krishna, they are going to aggregate. Okay, FPO acts as an aggregate, just like Ola and Uber. It acts as an aggregator, and after taking the money, they will share it with this farmer. That is how it will be. Okay, other related activities, bee banks will be there, where you are having lot of bee seeds will be available, bees will be available, so you can easily get the bees without any problem. Bee villages will be there, means a particular village where majority of the farmers are actually doing what? The honey bee production. We call this as bee villages. All of these have already discussed. Let us go ahead. Okay, so what is the outcome? So why are we actually discussing? Means in the newspaper the outcome has been mentioned. So because of the outcome has been mentioned, and the outcome says that honeybee production is increasing in our country and it is doing very well. So that's how the data has come out in the newspaper. That is the reason I have given you some background of this particular mission. This are the this slide and this slide are the static one. This is where the current affair has come in the newspaper. So after the launch of this particular scheme, and remember this point, this scheme was launched in the year 2020, okay, during the COVID 2020. From 2020 to 2025, when it was considered as a flagship scheme, very important scheme, sweet revolution when we are calling like this. So we should also be knowing that how it is performing. So we are going to see the outcome. So with the help of this particular mission, India is able to increase honey production. In India has the honey production increased by 60% over the past 11 years. Okay, it means the policy that is introduced by the government of India has become fairly successful here. Growing market demand also happened with regard to honey, and apiculture development programs. Beekeeping, bee rearing is also called as what? Apiculture. Remember this point. Okay, so basically with the help of the this mission, government is able to increase the honey production by 60% in the last 11 years. It means the policy is anyhow successful. This growth underscores India has very good potential to be a part of global value chain. Global value chain is nothing but if anybody wants any kind of sweetener in their products, okay, they can any kind of organic sweeteners in their products, whether it is what I say is that I don't actually eat a lot of processed food, so I'm not able to recollect the processed FMCG goods which are sweet, like Jig Jam is there, no, Treat is there. Now if any of the manufacturers want to use sweet, so they can look at India, because India is having good amount of honey production, which is something but it is organic. So they can use this organic honey, blend it however they want to blend it, and at least use in their Jig Jam, Treat or cream biscuit, etc., so and so forth, right? So we want to become a global value chain, okay, of natural sweeteners, and its importance in the farmer's income diversification. As I've already told you that, okay, farmer is deriving income only from the agriculture land, but in the land if he is also focusing on beekeeping, then his income diversification will be there. It means he will have now two sources of income. That is what is called as farmers income diversification. And farmers, if they are interested to adopt, they should do it, because it is a very good natural sweetener and lot of demand is there. Okay, then state share in the national production. The state which is producing highest amount of honey is Uttar Pradesh 17%, followed by West Bengal 16%. Okay, northern and eastern Indian states actually dominates honey production due to favorable floral diversity. Why we are saying that floral diversity is important? Because honeybee actually suck the nectars. So where you will suck the nectars from the flowers, you will suck the nectars, right? That's if it means what, that particular places should have lot of flowers. Okay, then the honeybees can go and suck the nectars, the sweets which are present in the flowers. So that's why this north and eastern India is basically having good amount of forest, so lot of plant biodiversity is there, so it becomes very easy for the honey plantations. Over 50%, so you can just imagine that the 50% we are exporting means, as I've already told you, we are doing very good and we are going to become one of the important UAE. These are the two countries that we export majority of honey production, 1 and 2 in the sequence respectively. I hope this is all clear. You're all able to get me, right? Is it clear? Agriculture sector, we are actually want to promote the honeybee mission in agriculture sector. Agriculture is one of the chief occupation of rural economy or rural folks. So that's why how it is going to impact the rural economy, that we have to see. NCERT batches have started, and this particular information with regard to honeybee, by adding some points I have picked up from the IQRA IAS weekly magazine. So please go to the IQRA IAS website, and there you are having weekly magazine. If you are studying that particular magazine, I bet you that you will definitely get a very good marks in your examination. So this is a very important question for the mains. They may ask you that how honeybee mission is going to impact the rural economy. So livelihood diversion. as I've already discussed, the majority of the farmers of our country are marginal and landless, means have very less amount of land with them to do the agriculture. But when they go for honey bee production also, their income will be increased and they will not have any problem with regard to what sustainability. So it actually gives livelihood, okay, sustainability to the farmers if they are also focusing on honeybee production. Okay, especially in tribal and forest regions. Women empowerment, beekeeping promoted as micro entrepreneurship model under various self-help programs. Beekeeping has become very important micro entrepreneurship model. Agriculture productivity, if you're doing beekeeping in your farmland, it enhances pollination efficiency. Pollination is nothing but a kind of fertilization that happens because of this insects which are moving from one place to another place and carrying the pollen from one plant and depositing on other plant. That's how the pollination will increase yield of crop like mustard, sunflower and fruits has also been seen wherever the honeybees are there. Export value addition, as we have already discussed, high demand for multifloral eucalyptus, wild forest, organic honey in the niche market. So this is how the rural economy will be impacted with the help of honey bee mission. I hope this is all clear to you. The mission, whatever we have discussed, the basic information of the mission important for prelims. And if you're discussing the impact and if you're trying to discuss the outcome is you have to write at the end, okay, means the complete mission is done. So this is how we are performing. So they may ask you what are the outcome also in the mains examination. So I hope all the areas of prelims and mains of this particular mission is completed. So make sure that you write exactly like this in your examination. Your job will be done. For prelims you have to buttify the first slide. Okay, then you have to also by heart all of these, because they may ask you the statement outcomes, because that is a current affair. Impact of rural economy, you don't have to worry about it for the prelims, but mains obviously it is a important area. Chalo. Consider the following statement as per the World Economic Outlook report. India remains the world's fastest growing major economy and is set to become the world's fourth largest by the end of 2025. World Bank publishes World Economic Outlook report. So which one of the following statement is true? This particular report has been released. That's why we are learning this particular current affair. Okay. So the first statement is right here. The second statement is wrong. Why? Because World Economic Outlook is not published by World Bank. It is published by International Monetary Fund. So our answer here is statement 1 only. Okay. India's financial year 2025 GDP growth of 6.5%, okay, marked a 4-year low, a sharp drop from the previous year financial year 24 when the GDP has grown by 9.2%. So you can see that there is a comparison of GDP from the 2024 and 2025. 2024 our growth rate was 9.2, whereas in 2025 our growth rate GDP growth is 6.5. So there is a low growth happened with respect to our GDP. India remains the world's fastest growing major economic still according to this report, and is set to become the world's largest by the end of 2025, fourth largest, okay, as per the International Monetary Fund, which releases World Economic Outlook report. And why our growth has been decreased, and what are the challenges that India has to keep in order to become the fourth largest economy are also listed in the report. Okay, they said that India's growth rate decreased, which was a 9.2% decrease to 6.5%. Why this happened? Because okay, urban consumer demand decreased, not so good. Like whoever are living in cities and urban areas, just imagine that how much you are spending outside. So urban consumer demand has decreased, not increased. Okay, mutated private investments are nothing but, if I am having a like Shark Tank India, Aman Gupta is there, so he is having a boat company, so he's not expanding. Okay, mutated private investments, it means what? The people like them are not actually pouring money into what? Business. If you don't invest, there is no capital accumulation. When there is no capital accumulation, obviously there won't be increase in production. So that is also private investment. It means the owners of increasing the economy will again rely on what? Government. Volatile global environment, and now today only I have seen that Israel has attacked a lot of sites of Iran, and already Israel and Hamas is going underway. Recently India and Pakistan, Operation Sindoor, understood. Okay, then Ukraine has hit Russia deep inside their territory. Now Russia launched a retaliatory attack on Ukraine. So you can see that there is a lot of global environment volatility is there. So because of that reason also, there is a very the economic growth rate of the country has decreased. The Reserve Bank of India's rate setting monetary policy has retained India's GDP also forecast to 6.5%. Okay, even though the expected trade deal with the US can boost India's exchange sector, uncertainty might persist over global trade tensions. So whatever the trade deal that we have done with the US, and at this point of time we are having Donald Trump, we never know this guy when he will flip. That is a problem here. Okay, so these are some of the areas of risk that India is having in order to increase their economic growth rate. Okay, as I have already told you that private spending is mutated, or it's not growing. That's why it is important that government should do the spending. As I've already told you that private firms delayed investments because of global uncertainties. The central government has extra space in the fiscal deficit to push up expenditure by at least 0.8 trillion during the ongoing financial year 26. Related to the budget estimates, they have little bit extra money of 0.8 trillion that can be infused in the market in order to promote our economy to expand. As a higher GDP and at RBI also giving the dividend payout provide room for it, according to the report by IQRA. So basically here as a private investment is moderate, government should step in. They have got little bit of money of 0.8 trillion. Along with that, RBI is also having lot of money which they can give to the government. So government got good amount of money with them, they can do the investment. Then rural consumption is another important factor. Rural consumption is a bigger part of overall consumption pie compared to the urban consumption. It means what if the complete India is having 100 units of tomatoes, in that 100 units of tomatoes, rural areas are actually consuming 70 tomatoes and urban areas are 30. It means whatever our consumption basket is there, majority of that particular basket is bought by what? Rural people. So urban people generally buy less according to the report. Okay, and was generally hurting from COVID shock in the last few years in urban areas. It is likely consumption growth will stay resilient. So in cities also after the COVID, the consumption has not picked up. That is what the report is saying. Above average monsoon rains this year and the resultant rise in the farm incomes are likely to boost the rural demand as well as easing inflation, economists have said. It also said that the rural consumption will get better. Why? Because rural incomes like farm incomes or honeybee related incomes are increasing. So they are going to do more consumption and making the growth resilient, like that they said. Tractor and two-wheeler are one of the important indicators, okay, that actually we can say that whether the sale of tractors and sale of two-wheelers in the rural areas is the indicator of well-being of the farmers. Is the indicator of what? Well-being of the farmer. It means they have more money. That's why they are investing in what? Tractor buying and the two-wheeler buying. So whenever a rural two-wheeler or rural tractor sale will increase, it means the farmers are having enough money with them. They can increase what? Rural consumption. Okay, so you can see that tractors and two-wheeler sales are a bellwether of demand in rural India. These sales will only make us to understand whether the rural India can demand more consumption or not. Have been rising in the recent quarter. The sales has been rising. It means it's a very positive thing that in the rural areas, if the sale is increasing, obviously they are going to have more rural consumption demand. Rural wage growth adjusted for inflation is at the highest in the 4 years. Data from ICICI Securities Primary Leadership. Like Manrega wage growth is there. Normal state governed wage rates are there. So rural laborers who are there, their wage growth is also getting better, and it is also aligned, or you can say that indexed with inflation. So it means what? The more inflation is having, the more wage rate is also growing. In this case, rural areas are better placed and they are going to run our economy than the urban areas. This complete paragraph is only discussing the various factors that will help boost rural consumption, and with the help of which we are able to boost economic growth. Okay, now low interest. As you know that RBI has decreased the interest rate. With regard to this, we are having a complete discussion. I'll come to that in the next slide. So low interest rate, RBI decrease the interest rate. Banks have more money. Banks will lend the loans in less interest rate, and that's how we can borrow more money from the banks and can increase the demand. So the more amount, more elaborate discussion will be we will do in a bit. Okay, now consumer demand. A big income relief, tax relief is given in the UN budget by Nirmala Madam for the people at the bottom of the tax pyramid. Softening inflation, lower inflation rates are expected to boost overall consumer demand. So inflation is also softening, nothing but inflation is decreasing. Lower interest rate from the RBI and budget policy, the tax rate have been reduced. Standard deduction of 75,000 is anyhow exempt. That landowners, okay, now will not be taxed property tax. They are taxed on their property if they are having more than one. Now they will be not taxed more than, they will be taxed only more than two. So that's how the in the basically the individuals, as an individual person, they are able to save a lot of money with regard to the new tax measures taken by the government. And the meanwhile inflation is softening because of good production we are having, and RBI has decreased the interest rate. All of these are going to spur up the demand, and that's how the production will increase, and that's how we will see the growth in the economy. So these are the important four drivers. The fourth one here is consumer demand. The third one here is low interest rate with the RBI. The second one here is rural consumption, and the first one here is government spending. So if all of these factors are taken care of properly, then we can see a very good economic growth rate. Very good economic growth rate. I hope this is all clear to you. Which among the following organization publishes Global Prospectus Report? Global Prospectus Report, you are having IMF, World Bank, UNCTAD and BRICS. What is your answer? Please write in the comment section. As because all of you are watching now, you can put a okay answer, your answer here. Okay, right. So the answer here is World Bank. Remember this point, just now we have seen World Economic Outlook. World Economic Outlook is given by IMF. Remember this point. Here we are having Global Prospectus Report. Global Prospectus Report is given by World Bank. This is World Economic Outlook. This is Global Prospectus Report. Okay, please make sure that you revise it 3 to 4 times. Okay, in your preparation you have to do Global Prospectus Report World Bank, Global Prospectus Report World Bank, Global Prospectus Report World Bank. If you talk like this for 5 to 6 times, so then only you will remember all of this. Otherwise, if you are thinking that you by just one reading you can easily get away and you can recall, means that much of brain we do not have. It's a very common thing. So make sure that you do condition your mind and do revise again and again. Then only things will become very accurate. Otherwise, not possible. Clear? Now let us talk about it. RBI has cut the repo rate on June 6th. Okay. Now I will talk about what is repo rate. A small important information I will give you. Repo rate. So first of all, it is a quantitative tool of RBI. Okay, quantitative, why we are saying means, okay, it deals with money supply in the country. How much money is there? Money, how much it is there? It deals with money supply. Whether the money supply should increase or decrease. Okay, to do increase or decrease, RBI uses a tool called as repo rate. That's why it is called as quantitative tool of RBI. First of all, repo full form is repurchase agreement. Remember this point. Repurchase agreement. Okay, one agreement will be there between the RBI and financial institutions, which could be what? Bank, which could be what? NBFCs, okay, which could be what? State governments, which could be what? Statutory bodies like you can say that National Highway Authority of India, they can do that, NMDC, they can do that, whatever they call for. It depends upon the RBI to whom it is offering that particular repo rate engagement. Okay, so these are the various clients of what? RBI, where it can auction or where it can do the repurchase agreements. Okay, so repo rate is that one. So small simple things I have told you. In repo rate, what generally happens? In repo rate, banks will say to the RBI, okay, banks will borrow money from RBI. Banks will ask money from RBI. RBI gives, so money goes here. This is the Uday Kumar, because the symbol rupee is given by one of the IIM or IIT graduate. Okay, Uday Kumar. Okay, so banks borrow from RBI. Okay, if RBI decreases the repo rate, what will happen? Banks borrow more from RBI. Okay, when they borrow more from RBI, they are having more money with them. Now they have to, they cannot, because it's a sin with the banks if they keep the money idle in their coffins or in their vaults. They cannot keep the money idle. That's what you also do. If you are having more money, what you will do? Either you buy gold, you know very well why you are investing in gold, because it will appreciate in value, you will get more money. Or what do? You do FD. Again, that is also you are doing what? More money, right or wrong? Yes. So here important point here is having idle money with the bank is a sin on the bank. That's why whenever RBI decreases interest rate, banks borrow more from the RBI, and they will slash the interest rates. Okay, when they get more money, they will slash the interest rate. Instead of profiteering at 10%, they will say that, okay, see, always remember this point. I'll tell you very clearly. If this is a bank, let us suppose we are having a bank, IQRA bank is there. What is it? IQRA bank is there. First of all, remember this point, these banks are what? Profit making institutions. These are not loss making or no profit making institution. Okay, not a social motive. Suppose I live in Hyderabad. So in Hyderabad, you are having in one of the important place in Banjara Hills, let us suppose, okay, where I stay, this is the Banjara Hills, let us suppose, and IQRA put a bank here, okay, and he has to pay to the, IQRA has to pay to the landlord the rent, okay, then the bank employees will be there, okay, labor will be paid what salaries, then whatever the amount of loan the IQRA is taken, that loan the IQRA has to pay interest, etc. So and so forth, land, labor, capital, all this is there. Let us suppose the cost of running this particular bank is what? Per month 5 lakh rupees are required to the IQRA bank to run this show. Okay, it means what? And also what? Profits, and also the IQRA has to also earn profits, right? So to cover land, labor, capital on entrepreneurship cost, 5 lakh rupees are required. So at this point of time, let us suppose to understand better, 10 lakh rupees are required. Now if the IQRA is having 10 lakh rupees with them, so they have to actually lend it what? 10%. So that will become 11 lakh. That will become what? 11 lakh, right? So 10 lakh rupees of 10% interest rate, it will become 11 lakh. So 10% is the 1 lakh rupees is the extra profit that the IQRA bank is getting, right? So now just suppose if the RBI decreases the repo rate. So instead of making 1 lakh rupee of profit, IQRA will make what? 50,000. IQRA will make only 50,000, because now giving to the more numbers and earning 50,000 is better. Okay, giving 1 lakh, okay, giving to the less number of people by high interest rate, okay, the IQRA will lose. So you have to fund more people to get what? More customers with you, so that they will take again and again also. That is also banks will also function. So banks are the profit motive organizations. Remember this point. Here you can say that the repo rate or nothing but repurchaser rate is the rate at which the banks borrow money from RBI. The money is borrowed by the offering government securities as collateral to the RBI. Okay, why repurchase? Means whatever the collateral, whatever the banks will give to the RBI, these are the mutual fund, a bank's invested documents with regard to IBM or Godrej, some companies they have invested. So that kind of important collaterals, important financial documents will be given to RBI. So by RBI takes that collaterals or take the document and give money on the promise that at some date they will do the exchange. The bank will get their papers and RBI will get their money. So this is what the arrangement. So that in the same way, bank mortgage their documents. The money is borrowed by offering government securities as collateral to the RBI. The borrowing bank later buy back the government securities from the RBI at higher rate, including the interest amount calculated as per the repo rate. Whatever the repo rate is fixed, when that much amount of interest rate will be given to the bank. So bank is making profit here. Remember this point. What is the current repo rate? On 6th June 2025, RBI has cut the repo rate by 50 basis points. This is also one of the important basic concept. Okay. In monetary policy, basically what happens, which is formulated by RBI, they don't talk about in percentages. Because the monetary policy changes are not in terms of what? Percentages. Very minute changes they will do, like 0.25, 0.50 percentage, 0.75. So to talk like this, it becomes very, very embarrassing, or maybe it becomes very, very, what I say is that looks very small. So that's why they use some other way of addressing this. They'll say that 100 basis point is nothing but 1%. If they say that 50 basis point, it means what? 0.50 percentage. Or if they say that 75 basis point cut rate is there, it means what? 0.75. So basis points, this terminology they use instead of what? Percentage terminology. So you can say that on 6th June 2025, the RBI repo rate cut by 50 basis point. Now 50 means what? It was 6%. So 50 means 0.50%, which comes to 5.5%. So 0.5% decrease. So once 0.5% decrease, you can see that for decrease, just decrease in 0.5%, the newspapers are they saying that okay, biggest repo rate decrease happened, biggest. So you just imagine that they play in very minute percentages. Okay, before that the RBI has cut the repo rate to 6.5 to 6.25 in February 2025. These are the repo rate trends that you have to understand for the mains perspective. They may ask you in the examination, discuss the latest trends with regard to the repo rates. At that time you have to write the year and the repo rate, write the year, write the repo rate, write the year or a repo rate. So whenever this update is there, at least 3 to 4 trends, last 3 to 4 trends you have to write, whether it is in same year, whether it is a different year. Your job is to give little bit of information with regard to the trends as in the examination. Apart from the repo rate, the RBI also announced cut in CRR, cash reserve ratio, cut by 100 basis point, means 1% decrease happened, okay, with regard to CRR, cash reserve ratio. It will be done in the 4 trenches. Okay, 25 basis point on 6 September, again October they will do 25 basis point more decrease, November. So basically this 1% decrease is not happening all of a sudden. It will happen for 4 months in the form of 0.25%, or you can say that 25 basis point. The moment CRR decreases, no, what will happen? I'll tell you the basic knowledge with regard to CRR. CRR is nothing but cash reserve ratio. Ratio we are talking about, it means something out of something. Okay, cash reserve is nothing but we cannot use it, it has to be reserve. Either it should be reserved with the bank or with the RBI. I'll come to that later. Cash is nothing but exactly the hard money we are talking about. So according to RBI rules, okay, every bank has to keep CRR with RBI. Okay, CRR, some amount of money have to be kept with what? RBI. Okay, and this amount of money, we are having Indian bank is there. Indian bank is having 100 crore rupees. So RBI says that 4% of CRR should be 4% of total money should be kept in CRR. RBI mandate the bank to keep 4% of total money in CRR. So out of 100 crore is the total money of Indian bank. 4% here 4 crore. 4 crore will be kept in what? RBI. Okay, 4 crore will be kept in RBI. Remember this point. Now here it is called as reserve. Right? Reserve means the money of the bank, the 4 crore will be there in the RBI only. RBI neither do any investment with regard to that particular money, neither give any kind of interest rate on that particular money to the bank. Basically the amount of money in the CRR which is given by the bank to the RBI is generating no profit. It generates what? Basically no profit. So bank assets are what? Money. Money is kept with what? RBI. Are bank earning anything on this money? Means no. That's why in CRR, whatever is money kept with RBI, we call it as what? Dead asset. We call it as what? Dead asset. Please remember this. I hope this is clear to you. Okay. So when CRR is there, 4 crore is kept in RBI. For example, we have taken 96 crores are there with the bank. Now it decreased to what? Let us suppose 2 crore by the RBI. So banks are having 98 crore. 98 crore means 2 crore extra bank has got. So 2 crore extra bank can do the lending or not. Bank can do the 2 crore extra means 2 crore investment will be there, which increase the production, or if given to what individual, it will increase the consumption. Either production will increase or consumption will increase. Whoever needs it, that will be served with the help of this particular the CRR or the bank loans. I guess this is all clear to you. Fine. Taking advantage of cooling inflation. Cooling inflation is nothing but inflation is dropping off, that we have already seen. Inflation is coming down. Okay. Then the policy shift in the line of the government with broader push to support micro, small and medium enterprises, MSME, critical to create jobs in the world's most populous country. So why this particular decrease happened means so that more production increases, Atmanirbhar Bharat vision has to be realized. Okay, and more. So if you produce more, then only you can generate more jobs. So that is what the government and RBI strategy. RBI strategy is in lines with what? A government vision to create more jobs and to increase the economic growth. That is the reason RBI have decreased what? Repo rate. The MSME sector contribute 29% to India's GDP, 40% to the exports, and employs over 60% of country's workforce worldwide. In contrast, just 16% of overall bank credit goes toward this sector, which is very bad. Okay, so that's why if you see banks is having one important rule that they have to follow priority sector lending. In priority sector lending, MSMEs are also there. So banks are mandated to give some part of the lending to MSME, but that is anyhow very small part of lending, small, less than 5% that they will give in MSME. So that is the reason, though MSME is contributing India like how much India's GDP, 29%. MSME sector is constantly contributing 29% to India's GDP, but how much amount of loans are being given? 16%. It means what? Rest of the whatever the loans required by the MSME, they are getting from what? Informal channels like NBFC, which are charging higher interest rate or taking from money lenders, etc., on unserious interest rate. So it is very important when MSME sector is able to generate 29% of the GDP, then it becomes very important for the bank, for the government to make a rule that at least proportionate amount of credit should be given to MSME. 29% is being contributed to GDP, 29% of bank credit should be going to GDP. That is at least the government of India should do. Okay, so when repo rate and cash reserve ratio, if this two decreases, what will happen? Interest rate savings will happen to the individuals. Okay, nothing but if there is no rate cut is there, so on 100 rupees, 100 rupees loan I have taken from SBI, so SBI charge 10%, so I am selling out what? 110 rupees, so 10% is my interest rate. Okay, with this cut, what happened? SBI will give me a 100 rupees loan on 8%. On 8% means I am able to give only 108 rupees. So it means what? 2 rupees benefit happen with regard to the interest or not? Yes. So individual borrowers will save on what? Interest rate. FD returns will decrease. FD returns will decrease. The new people who are actually taking the FDs, no, they will be offered what? Less interest rate on their FDs. On their FDs. Remember this point. Why did the cut? Why RBI has cut the repo rate? Okay, one of the important objectives of RBI is very simple: to control inflation. And inflation at this point of time is well within the Urjit Patel committee recommended inflation targeting of 2 to 6%. Urjit Patel committee said that inflation should be between 2 to 6%. So our inflation is at the 3.16%. So 2 to 6%, we are at a 3.16%. So we are within the inflation targeting belt. Okay, that's why government, the RBI has got good amount of room to cut the interest rate. Okay, so we are keeping the well below the inflation rate, so we have the room. We are going for the expansionary monetary policy. The lower inflation rate gave the RBI the elbow room to cut the interest rate. I hope this is all clear to you. Okay. Then UN demographic report. Demographic report, it talks about children, it talks about women, it talks about fertility, it talks about population, etc. So and so forth. Let us discuss this. India's population is estimated to reach 1.46 billion in 2025. So almost like we are now the largest populous country in the world. According to UN, we became what? Highest. According to United Nations, okay, population fund report, State of World Population Report, the real fertility crisis calls for a shift from panic over falling fertility rate to address unmet reproductive goals. Unmet reproductive goals are nothing but a couple wants to have 3 babies. They are not able to have 3 babies. Unmet reproductive goals, or they want to have 2 babies. There are one category of couples are there which want two babies, but they are not able to meet that. There are one category of couples are there which are not able to meet it, even not able to have one baby. So fertility rates are also dropping, and the couples are not able to meet their reproductive goals. The report found that India's total fertility rate has declined to 1.9 births per woman, falling below the replacement level of 2.1. Replacement level is nothing but 100 population died and 100 population born. So this is how the population of a country is basically balanced. But here what is happening? 100 people died, but born is only how much? 50 are born. It means what? Okay, 1.9 means like 90 are born. Let us suppose 10 decrease happen. If this goes on continuing, what will happen? India will not have the enough workforce. We decrease in population. Obviously the youth and adult and old age children, that combination, if it is all not working well, then again will become a problem. One second. Got stuck. Why it just got stuck? Let us see. Right. So I was just looking that I was stuck. That's why I think that you might have not heard about this particular topic. So that's why I have come again. No need to worry about it. Okay. I hope all of you are able to see me and hear me very properly, right? Okay. India's population has reached up to 1.46 billion. So very huge amount of population we are actually having on a small area of land. The miracle thing is that we are able to feed everyone and we are able to give good life to most of the population of our country. Okay, so according to UNFPA population 2025 state of world report, the real fertility crisis India may face in future. Okay, so there is a shift from panic over falling fertility rate to addressing unmet reproductive goals. Unmet reproductive goals are nothing but a couple wants to do 2 babies but not able to meet that goal. That is called as unmet reproductive goals. This is one category of couples. Another category of couples are nothing but they are not able to produce even one. So we are having two problems here, falling fertility rate and unmet reproductive goals. Remember this point. The report also found that India's total fertility rate has declined to 1.9 births per woman, falling well below the replacement level of 2.1. Replacement level is nothing but the amount of population which is again what infused into the country in response to how much people are dying. I'll explain you that. In India, 100 people died and 100 people born. This is called as replacement level. Absolutely replacement level. No need to worry about it. India will have continuous growth of what? Youth will be there. Children will become youth, adults. So a very thriving economy will have in future. But what is happening in our country? If 100 people are dying, only 90 people are being born. So 10%, 10 individual gap is there here. If this goes on continuing, what will happen in future? If the adult and youth are being less under this, then we will face a demographic crisis where we cannot reap the benefits of what the emerging areas of economy. There won't be much adult and youth population left and we cannot depend upon children and old age to thrive the economy. So we are having a very good problem that need to be addressed. This means that on an average Indian women are having fewer children than needed to maintain the population size from one generation to another generation. So 100 people in this 100 people are there on our country, in our country by 2050. By 2050 more 100 people should born or not, so that our generation will continue, but that's not actually happening, it seems. Despite the slowing birth rate, age bracket of 0 to 14, 17% in 0 to 19, 26% in 10 to 14. So we are having a very good youth population. If this youth is properly skilled, no, they will do what? They will do blockbuster across the world. Okay, they just need to be directed well. They just need to be given their interest of fields like media, entertainment, like Wave Summit 2025, audio visual, VFX, digital marketing, influencer marketing, solopreneurship. Okay, skills should be given to them. Okay, and their interest related courses, if they have been launched, then obviously we can do wonders in the world. Okay, the country 68% of the population of the is in the working age. 68% of the population of our country is in working age between 15 to 64 years. Okay, the elderly population which is more than 65 years, 65 years or more than 65 years, they are at 7%. They are at 7% and expected to rise also because the life expectancy, because of increase in health services and Pradhan Mantri Arogya Yojana, all these healthcare initiatives by the central and state government, the people are able to save their lives through by the critical diseases also. That is the reason the life expectancy may increase and this population may grow. The report is saying 71 years for the 1,463 million, nothing but 146 crores. India is now the world's most populous nation with nearly 1.5 billion people. A number expected to grow also 1.7. Okay, before it begins to fall around 40 years from now. Like today is 2025. Add 40 years, that will become 2065. We will become 1.7 billion. Okay, means almost like 170 crore population we will be having in our country. I hope this is all clear to you. The next part of the current affairs I'll cover tomorrow. Tomorrow is a very, very important session. Please don't miss it. I am going to discuss the latest indexes, in which the questions are going to come for sure in prelims and mains. We are having global hunger index is there, human development new index is there, gender parity index is there. Okay, these are the I'm not talking about corruption index or any other press freedom index, but we are talking about very, very important index that could be used as a bites in your mains examination and that have lot of importance in the prelims examination. I hope this is all clear to you. I'll see you tomorrow. at morning between 11 to 12 o'clock. Today it was a little bit late, but generally we will have sessions in the morning so that you can have your preparation accordingly. Take care. Bye bye.